Kia ora koutou katoa, hello and welcome to the breakdown. Yes, we are an emotional and close-knit community here. We are in Dunedin. This is the Harbour Rugby Club, but today there is a sad note. Of course, we commemorate the 10 years of the earthquake in Christchurch. And on behalf of the breakdown and all of the rugby fraternity, all of the fans and all the people across the country, as always, our thoughts are with the city as they continue the rebuild and the courage they can show as a people. Thank you very much, and it's great to be with you here in Dunedin. Well, fantastic it is. Super Rugby Aotearoa, Sky Super Rugby Aotearoa kicks off on Friday. That's where in Dunedin. That's Sir John Kirwan, Mills Muliaina, Aaron Smith, Tony Brown. JK, you ready, mate? Super Rugby's back.
Actually, I thought it came around quite quick, but it's actually later than last year, yeah. So I can't wait. I'm ready.
Mills, for you?
Oh, I'm ready. I mean, after watching that preview, gee, how can you not be ready, hey? This big fella here? Outstanding.
Well, it's an overstatement. He's not that big. Brownie's even bigger than him, let's be honest. But Brownie, let's talk about it straight away. What does it take to win this competition? You got a taste of it last year. Couple of rounds, there's a final. How good have you got to be?
I think you've got to be pretty good every week. You know, all the games last year came down to key moments in the game, and the teams that took those key moments and were better than the opposition in those key moments took away the points, and probably, ultimately the best team in those situations won.
Nuggie, have you got it in you then? 2 rounds in a final?
Oh, for sure, mate. That's what we've prepped for all summer, and Super Rugby Aotearoa last year was what it was, and the whole enigma of what the world was going through. But it was some of the best rugby I'd ever been involved in. And as Brownie said, that last 10 minutes, it's right when you're like, this is where the game is won or lost. And we snuck a few last year, but I think the key to this comp is starting fast.
The best of the best. We talk about it all the time here in New Zealand, how good we are and can be. JK, we've got to remember yesterday, though, Dan Carter finally hangs up his boots at the age of 39. Significant, but this is arguably one of the greats of our game.
Yeah, funny how you look at things like why was he wearing 26, but I think the interesting thing for me personally was it was really difficult for me when I finished playing for the All Blacks. Christian Cullen and then Dan Carter were the people that made me a fan of the game, All Black fan again, and I remember that evening, unbelievable.
Mills, for you, you've played so many test matches with this incredible talent. He was straight out a winner.
Yeah, absolutely, and just the way he went about his business, the training, sort of absolute freak as well. Like, he just pulled something, out of the hat. But certainly for him to hang up his boots fine. I think he's had a year off already, hasn't he? Come back from Japan, but
Probably the Blues, Mills.
Oh, he was too. Yeah, didn't get a game, but yeah,
tough to get in that Blues team, mate. Tough to get in that Blues team. He'd probably get a run this year, maybe. What about you, Nuggie? When you look back at all the times you spent with Dan Carter and the way that he played the game, what made him stand out for you?
Oh, he was an inspiration, and he's one of the legends of our game. I reckon the best 10 ever, and I just was blessed to play with him. As Mills said, the way he trained, whatever he practiced, it just looked perfect, and it didn't look like he missed anything. He just made it look really easy, and off the field he was just such a lad and a great down-to-earth guy.
Man, it's great to have had his influence on the game here in New Zealand. Well, every team goes through change. Bernardine Oliver Kirby is with us here in Dunedin. And Bernie, what have the Highlanders done in the off-season?
Oh, the Highlanders, I tell you what, how good is it, first of all, to be here in Dunedin? This is a real rugby club. The boys' eyes lit up when they saw the crates of big bots. They found their happy place immediately, I can tell you that much for nothing. All right, it'd be rude not to start with the hosts, wouldn't it? So the Highlanders, they finished 4th last year, but I do suspect there were some of those little labels, those introducing little stick-ons at training, because the squad is littered with some new personnel. Let's have a little look. It is welcome to the Highlanders for Billy Harmon. Fresh from Crusader country, the flanker, he's on a 2-year deal with the Highlanders. Athletic Japanese number 8, Kazuki Hamino, he'll add some flavour and punch to the forwards. See that name at the top, Jermaine Ainsley, out with an ankle injury. So that import from Aussie, it is not happening. That's a disappointment. All eyes be on Nehi Milner-Skunna to make his mark. The former Hurricane, he hasn't played Super Rugby since 2018. Solomon Alamalu, he's a handy acquisition from the Chiefs. And it's welcome back Liam Squire. He was a part of the victorious Highlanders from 2015. Will he experience that winning feeling again? And will we see him back in black? Well, Squire slotted right back in, partly due to the departure of Dylan Hunt. He's not the only loss. Rob Thompson gone, Tihurangi Walden gone, and coach Aaron Major brewing a great Williams-worn beer, I understand, at the moment. Intriguing, though, the inclusion to me of Brent Evans at 36. He's not riding off into the sunset just yet. He's been playing some footy in Sale, but is he back as a machine, as a mentor, a line-out specialist? If only we had some inside knowledge to the team as to why he's there.
We've got the head coach right here, and we saw your name down there, Brownie. You're not making a comeback, are you?
Never know.
No chance. No, please don't do that to us. Please don't do this. Let's talk about Brent Evans, the fact that why would you bring in someone like him into your squad at this stage of his career?
Yeah, I just felt as though we lacked a little bit of experience last year. We had quite a young squad. We just had old Nuggy here and Ash Dixon as the older guys in the team trying to lead everything. And like I talked about at the start, it comes down to those key moments in games, and experience matters in those moments. And having someone who I reckon is one of the better line-out forwards going around New Zealand at the moment, to come on potentially in that last 20 and, do his thing and potentially win us a game.
Brownie, the Highlanders in the past have been famous for those that might have been left out or work harder than anyone else, that real rugged, chip on your shoulder type attitude. How do you pick for that? I mean, do you look for character of the type of player and how you want to play?
Oh, I think, any quality Super Rugby player's got to have character. I don't think they make it past Mitre 10 Cup if they don't have the right character. So 100%, that's the most important thing when you get into a rugby team. And then it's up to, I guess, myself and the other coaches to build an environment where that character can come out and win games of rugby.
Nuggy, I want to ask, because I know you've come back, you're fairly experienced as well, but it's a different type of pre-season for you guys, especially the All Blacks. You've come in straight away and you're playing the first game. How difficult has that been, or is it a lot better coming in fresh, along with everyone else?
Well, I think it's hard to turn up and be at the level of intensity the boys are at. You can be fit, you training a couple of times a day, but the boys are doing 3 trainings before 12, and then in the Arvos, the field session. So the first week's always tough. I felt a bit rusty, obviously, the first week, and the boys are flying in, and Shane Christie's bringing a lot of energy on our defence, so it was a bit of an adjustment, but as you know, it's just about getting mentally prepared, day to day, getting your body ready, and I'm pretty thankful that the pre-season's done. Everything from now, it counts, it's for real, so that's why you play the game, because you play to compete for points, not muck around,
Nuggy, every team has new players come in. Have there been some new players come in, and anyone in particular that stood out, the fact that they've brought a different type of energy?
Oh, I think they all add it. We've got a lot of young guys around. Bryn, you said before, I was very, very thankful because he's older than me and Ash, so he's Koro now, not me and Ash, so I was pumped about that. But Fatuli from Tasman and the Crusaders, I thought the impact he was going to bring in. And Billy Harmon, he's been impressive from what I've seen, his ball skills, his carrying ability, and obviously a quality player, so it was great to have someone like that. And then Soli Alamalo has just come down, and I can't wait to see him go away. He still looks like he's just waiting to hit that four-side bar sprinting.
Brownie, I've got to ask you the fact there's these interpretations of law, the fact there's been some subtle changes. Have you noticed anything in the pre-season about the nature of the games and the ball and play? I know that's something that you're excited about, that the more rugby that can be played, the better off, particularly when we've got a stadium like you have here in Dunedin.
Yeah, that's right, and I think that new laws allowing more ball and play, and Aaron saw a bit of that on Friday night last week, where in that first half, the ball was in play for 24 minutes, and since I've been measuring it, I've never had ball in play for that long and a half. It's normally, struggling to get to 20. So that's a pretty good stat so far for what will be an exciting competition, I think.
Brownie, is this a sprint or is this a marathon? I mean, we saw the Chiefs last year lose a couple early by a couple of points, and then all of a sudden you're under pressure so early. I mean, how do you mentally prepare for that?
Yeah, I think you've got to back your pre-season, and you've got to back your players, get them ready to go. And you're right, it's got to be a sprint. You've got to start fast, you've got to win early, and then you've got to apply pressure to everyone else after that. So if you lose a couple early, it's back to the wall stuff, and you can come back, 100% you can come back, but you'd rather start fast and apply pressure to everyone else.
we talk about the ball being in play a heck of a lot. How significant is the kicking going to be? I mean, we've seen last year the Chiefs, you know, they probably didn't kick the most. They kept ball in hand and they didn't win any games. With sort of a definite change in the way, you know, a lot of teams kicked and then defended and sort of forced mistakes. How's that going to be this year for you guys?
Yeah, that's right. I think the kicking game's become a real tactical weapon. The Blues kick the most now, which probably in your day, JK, they ran the most, and they've always been traditionally ball in hand team. Now they're a kicking defence pressure team. So and they had success through that. So we'll probably see similar stuff. And you know, like the Chiefs and the Hurricanes probably look to hold the ball the most, but it's not always the way to win.
And so are we going to see you darting out from and kicking into the in goal and try and get like the in goal dropout? I mean, are you actually tactically kicking that? When you watch the Warriors, when you watch the NRL, you know, it looks like an easy skill, but it's an incredibly hard one to do. I mean, do you change your skill set?
I think as a 9, I don't think I'll be doing those types of kicks, but as a more tactical around, probably just contestables, whacking them up. But it's something we're probably going to have to think of, feeling our way out. Exiting, you can actually just smack it long, and if your 10s are good enough, if they can stop it in the end goal. But it'll be interesting to see how that's used this year. But I think, as we've said, the kicking game is really key to setting up your defence.
Brownie, you were part of the criteria, or the people that were looking for a replacement head coach, and then you've ended up with the role. What convinced you that you were the right man for the job?
Yeah, it's always been something that I've been open about around. I don't feel as though it's my strength and my point of difference as a coach. But, you know, with what's happened over the last couple of years, and especially now that, like, I've worked closely with Aaron and Ash and the other leaders around what we want to try and create with the Highlanders, I feel as though I was the right guy for the job to set up what I believe can be a really powerful environment and get the best out of our players if we get it right. So I think it was just time for me to step up and not let anyone else come in and, you know, create something that I don't believe is Highlanders rugby.
I'd imagine you get no argument from this crowd, given the fact you drove this place. They couldn't. I remember playing here. Is the fact that it was great to play with you here, because that's when some of those inventive moves and taking opportunities and the sort of game we had to play, we had to keep the ball out of the water out of there, to be fair.
I went to the toilet, guy. Hold
on, whoa, hold on.
I went to the toilet before, and this was looking at me. It was a bit disturbing, actually. It was this.
There's nothing disturbing
some sort of
about
hair
that. Ad. Thanks, JK. Great contribution to the show.
Thank you.
Can you put that back up when you go there? You can't put that back up.
Yeah, no, there's a dirty marker around it.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Brownie. Thanks for coming on the show. Great to have you with us. Good luck for the season. We'll see you on Friday night. The pre-season is an important part of any year, and the Highlanders, the Crusaders, they've both been on the road. The Highlanders on the weekend, they headed to Alexandra. Always great to catch up with the community, and always great to go out and get a free feed.
Let's put the white bait in there. Sure everyone will like. You're going to break the eggs in there.
Region, great people, hard-working, humble, and they really love the Highlanders.
Thank you so much. White gold.
It's been great to just get out, played a little bit of mud touch and octopus, and then we've played some golf, played some passes, a lot of eating, drinking, connecting with our people. Brucey's been great, him and his father, great hosts, awesome food, and yeah, just been great to get out tonight and connect with our fans.
Oh, it's great. I'm still buzzing, and I think everyone is. It's an unreal feeling.
I believe we are just days away from the start of Sky Super Rugby Aotearoa 2021. Exciting times. All right, well, you know what they say often, it's harder to stay at the top than to get to the top. That's right, isn't it, Jeff?
Absolutely.
He agrees. All right, well, the Crusaders, they will literally be on a crusade to repeat the feat. And once again, it is an all-star cast. And in fact, perhaps their strongest weapon is the fact they have continuity in their squad. Not too many movements with the Crusaders compared to other squads. Only 7 players left compared to an average of 16 players in the 4 other teams. You know what they say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right. New to Camp Crusader, Maori All Black rookie Tamaiti Williams, the 140-kilogram rookie prop, impressed in the pre-season opener against the Highlanders. The 21-year-old shows huge promise. 13 years his senior, former Blues player Rennie Ranger. The Northland stalwart has had stints in France, Japan, the US. His next stint, of course, in Canterbury. Razor Robertson's indicated he'll use the 34-year-old at centre if required. 34 boys, never say never. And who's the dearly departed? Well, no one majorly of any significance, but there is no Billy Harmon, as mentioned, no Fatuli player. Hard to get game time in the Crusaders when your squad is that good. So very little movement in the team. Does that mean they're a little bit predictable, if you can be, as the Crusaders, or does that make them more of a threat?
It's always an interesting conversation what the Crusaders are going to do, because they like to innovate. They bring in new coaching staff from year to year. They've had to make some changes again. Mills, how big is the target, though, for this on this team? The fact that they've been so dominant, played so well, is the target bigger and bigger? And are all the other 4 teams going, you know what, maybe it's time for someone else to hold us tight?
I think the target's big every year, in a Crusaders jersey. I mean, given what they've sort of done the last 5 or so, the championships that they've also won, but also the calibre of players that they've got there. I mean, the competition and the spots that are available, gee, I mean, there's going to be some really good players that are going to miss out this year in terms of the way the whole structure is, JK, because this is a sprint. You want to be out there week in, week out. You can't rest guys when they go to South Africa or Australia and things like that. So it's really week in, week out.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't call it, a target. I'd call it the standard. I think if you look at World Rugby looks at the All Blacks, but I think if you want to look at franchise professional rugby, the Crusaders have been leading the way on and off the field, and you can see that with their, with what they've done. No outs, 2 ins, Rennie Ranger, picking guys for a purpose. Brownie said it, teams want to create their own culture, and the Crusaders have had it for a long time. And yeah, the rest of the provinces want to go in there. The rest of the super sides want to go in there and take that mantle off them, but not just for one season. And I think a lot of teams are trying to build towards that longevity. So yeah, everyone wants to beat them.
You start looking at teams and trying to find where they may have a weakness, where you can challenge them. Braden Ennor is out for the majority of the season, if not all of it. So all of a sudden there's an opportunity in the midfield. Looks as though Jack Goodhue might go to centre. So David Havili, for me, Mills, becomes pretty critical given his versatility in their squad.
Oh, and his leadership as well. We've seen him a lot at fullback here, and the way he sort of has run, from the back. His leadership is crucial, but he wins big moments as well. I like him in the midfield. I think his decision making and also his skill set probably suits him in that position. He's probably one of those players, JK, that's has been unsure about where he's going to sort of suit. I think the injury to Ennor has probably allowed him to say, well, actually, I'm going to have a go at this position.
Yeah, well, I'd hate to be him, because who wants to be the utility back? You don't want to be the fullback, the midfielder. So for me, if they're going to play him there, because he could be one of the best we've seen, but he needs to stay there, play there, get a pick every week. But if you think about some of the gaps in their squad, why have they got Rennie Ranger? Because they're worried about midfield. So pick him there, play him there, otherwise he's just going to be a utility back.
They've been a team, though, Mills, the fact that it's been reliant, not so much reliant, but they've looked to their defence to lead the way. This is a difficult competition to do that. And the nature of the fact they've talked about how much the ball could be in play. Can you rely on that? Could they grind out 2 rounds of this and a final to become champions again?
Oh, they have to. I mean, you've seen in pre-season already how long the Brownies were spoken about it as well, but also the discipline around that. The referees being very hard on the offside line. So, You know, can they? Well, they have to sustain it for a longer period of time. Their structures are pretty good. And
Did
they've
you
shown
say
it.
the refs are going to control the offside line?
Apparently.
I heard that. Bryce Lawrence actually said they're going to control it at the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, and at the end of the season.
The end of the season, says the guy who's through and through Blues. He can't help himself. And
Well, we
we've
keep
got a
everyone
whole
on side,
season in front of
keep
us.
everyone on side, keep them honest, then it's going to be more space and we'll see more ball out onto the wings.
You're offside all day, let's be honest. But for the Crusaders, they rely on their experience, they rely on the players who have been there and done it before. Sam Whitelock is one of those. And we asked him about how they approached the game 10 years ago to the day, about when the earthquake happened in Christchurch.
We saw it as an opportunity to bring hope, show our area, our province, how much we cared, and we obviously got to the final and the Reds come away with the win. But the thing that probably sums up the whole earthquake in my mind is we travelled back after the final. We got back in around midnight, 1 in the morning, whatever it was, and there was probably 10 to 15,000 people packed the airport, and to see them all dressed up in red and black, and they were just so thankful for what we had done. And when the players got off the plane, we were a little bit nervous. Obviously, we didn't win, and we were a bit worried about the reception we were going to get, whether it be hostile or not. But that's something that really blew all the players away, and if anything, it allowed the emotion to come out of the players that we'd guarded for so long.
An unbelievable performance from that Crusaders group, the way they were able to come together, and they played a number of their games on the road during the course of that season and still performed at the highest level under adversity. Whether you at the fans think they can win this year's competition, it's entirely up to you. This is your opportunity. Sky have started a tipping competition. If you go to tipping.sky.co.nz, it's your chance to get involved. What have you got to do? Well, you've got to pick the winner of each match on the weekend. You've got to pick the margin, and then here's the kicker. You've got to pick the tries from each team in the game. The number of tries, that separates you from the men, and the boys will be involved. You can take us on and we'll see whether or not you can pick the winner of this year's competition. The pre-season, as I said, critical for all sides. The Highlanders and Crusaders, they play a fixture every year that's important to their build-up. The Farmlands Cup, sponsored by Farmlands, and this year they took their roadshow to Temuka.
G'day guys, well I've made my way north and Izzy's made his way south to the beautiful metropolis that is Temuka for Farmlands Cup pre-season, Crusaders versus Highlanders. I'm excited. We've brought you to the teapot in Dagger for a cup of English breakfast and hopefully a cheese roll to get us fired up for today.
Yep, we're going to go chat to some locals, have a little chinwag. Let's get into it, Joey.
I'm buzzing. Thanks, mate. 4 cheese rolls, thanks.
Couple of pots of tea, Barb.
Righto, Izzy, we found the people that we wanted to in Temuka, the people that know everything about Temuka, and proud supporters of both the Crusaders and Highlanders. Rowdy and Margie of Temuka Transport. We're in Temuka. What goes on here? What do we need to do? Obviously, we're in the tea rooms, but what else do we need to touch on?
Need to touch on, we've got Temuka Pottery.
Joey.
Yeah, which is known all throughout the world. Wonderful domain, holiday park.
Do you want a cheese roll? Because we're just going to head into town and catch up with a few other locals. Get one of those in you. There you go, Rowdy. Load up for tonight. We'll see you at the game.
Yeah.
Go the Highlanders.
How's the cheese roll?
Lovely.
Yes. Temuka Pottery Store. So here we go, bud. Let's get in there. So how long have you been doing this for, Juanita?
For about 12, 13 years.
So you're obviously a Crusaders fan, or?
Oh, yes, of course. You're my favorite.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go. So how am I doing?
Yeah, you're doing great.
You reckon?
Oh, yeah, I'd buy that for sure.
What do you reckon, Joey?
Not setting the mood enough for me, Dagger.
You're making me nervous, Joey.
Over the gate!
Let's go!
How goes this, Dagger? We made it to the gate.
You can't fit with your big shoulders.
Tell you what, Farmlands Cup, Farmlands bringing this to a rural community like Temuka.
Yeah.
We can already see the buzz. The line's way back to the town, mate.
Fraser, Farmers Cup, Tamuka. Must be pretty special for the boys to come down here.
It's special, and it's special for the local community because the young kids get to see them in real life. Normally it's in a stadium up in Christchurch, but they're here, they're right in front of them. The dream can come true.
Moving forward, the Crusaders, and there's the try.
Farming's a bit unique, you know, you live where you work. So all day you're on your farm, you're doing farm things. So the opportunity to get out and about and do something a bit different doesn't come by that often. So putting the Farmlands Cup in the rural communities to get people off the land to have a bit of a break and have some good time with some of their mates, that's what it's all about.
Team live in the Harbour Club, Port Chalmers in Dunners. The big bots, they're getting down, the crowd's warming up. It's great as we preview the Sky Super Rugby Aotearoa 2021 season. We've stepped through a couple of teams. They don't trust JK to talk about the Blues, so I'm going to kick that off. Let's chat the Blues. They came oh so close last year, didn't they? Will 2021 be Leon McDonald's year in his third at the helm of the Blues team? Well, the team turned a real corner last year and their team looks super mean this year. Let's have a little peek and see who's in and who's out. The key figures in the squad this season: Nepololala, the big man, he's heading north of the Bombays to pull on the blue strip. He'll be a big loss to the Waikato-based franchise. Dylan Hunt, it's a homecoming of sorts for the Auckland-born Highlander, who boasted a 94% success rate with tackles in Super Rugby Aotearoa last year. Zahn Sullivan, now you're not be overly familiar with his name perhaps, but you will be. That's the big call, as the fullback who can also play 10. He's tipped as a real prospect for the future. It's a real opportunity for the exciting young back with Beauden Barrett now in Japan. Add to the missing persons list James Parsons, retiring after 115 games for the Blues. His concussion issues forcing time on his career. Hey, what about Roger Tuivasa-Sheck? Sorry fans, you'll have to wait until next year for the Dally M winner to pull on the blue strip, and who knows, maybe even a black one day. But how is the pressure on the Blues for another stellar season? Surely a lot of pressure for them to go one better this year, boys.
Well, JK, you can pretty much start us off because you're shaking your head like the favourites.
There's no pressure on us.
Why is there no
There's pressure on the Crusaders. There's no pressure on the Blues. The Blues are building. The thing I like about it,
You've
Mills,
been building for how long? How long? How much longer can you be building? How much longer? You haven't got time to build.
No. Listen, we have been building for the last 25 years.
So you're building to next year now?
Yeah, exactly. No.
So Beauden returns and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck.
No,
Who else have you bought?
We only had Beauden for 5 games last year. So look, the interesting thing about the Blues, when you live in Auckland like I do, beautiful Auckland, you realise that something special is being built, right? So Brownie comes up here and talks about culture, talks about getting things right, making sure you're in creative environment, and that is happening. I think Leon has done an amazing job, and we can feel it around the community. So I think that this is going to be a hard tournament to win. Are the Blues going to be in there at the end? I believe they are, because their leadership group's older, they've got a well-balanced side, and things are happening also off the field.
Mills, they're not where they were 2 years ago, the fact because they were waiting and looking for a 10. And the performances they got last year, they got some consistency, and we talked about that, but still they've lost a significant amount of leadership when you take out not only Beauden Barrett, but James Parsons as well. Who steps up? Is it someone like Rieko Ioane?
I think so. I think Rieko Ioane definitely steps up. He's been there for a number of years and he's really matured. A lot of questions were asked also, you know, when he stepped into that centre position, gone through a bit of adversity, especially in the black jersey and number 15. So he really has to step up in terms of his voice. You know, he's been in the environment, in Leon's environment for the last couple of years. So now's the time for him to really shine. And I like the way he's gone about it too.
All the other pieces of the puzzle are there, though. But once again, JK, does it not come down to your key decision-makers, guys like Oteri Black and Stephen Perifeta, Zahn Sullivan, Finlay Christie at halfback? I mean, those guys are going to be the players who have to drive them around the park. Can they not just do what they did last year, but be better? Because they'll need to be.
Yeah, look, and I think the most important thing about last year was Beauden spent a lot of time at fullback. So Tera was up there running it. He will have to have a great season for the Blues to win. You need that at first 5. But I think the leadership, like you said, they'll miss James. James has been an amazing player for them. And so as long as that leadership steps up and they're complete around the football paddock, I think they'll be hard to beat.
And also think their pack's gotten a lot better. You know, they're prepared to work hard for each other. Guys are prepared to, clean out rucks and get that quality ball. So, I'll tell you, Black & Co have been on the back of some really good, sturdy performances, like from the likes of their leader, Patrick Tupolutu. Look at their Lucy's. Man, there's some good names here they're going to miss out.
And where they fit, and the likes of a Tom Robertson, who has been really, really inspirational for them. I look at this Blues outfit, and they are certainly an improved team, but now is the time for them to take that step up, if they're going to. This is their opportunity. They can only probably get better again next year, JK, but you can't wait any longer.
Well, this tournament is too hard. I mean, look at the Chiefs last year. You've got to start fast. You've got to win a couple of early ones, especially the Blues. We talk about it, but it's any rugby team. If you start well, get some confidence, get a roll on, then it's all good.
They looked really good in the pre-season game on the weekend down in Cambridge. Lucky and very fortunate they got the hit out. Crucial for them in terms of preparing for the season. They did have a standout performer last season, though, and Caleb Clark was nothing short but spectacular. And he then did it for the All Blacks as well. We asked him what's exciting him most about this year's campaign.
Yeah, we're all really excited, Super Rugby is always a really fun time of the year, and so it's quite cool that round one is against the Hurricanes, which is one of my favourite teams to play against, just because there's so many boys in the Wellington teams that I'm really good friends with. Knowing that it's Artie's 100th game as well, hopefully I get picked to play, but sort of celebrating that occasion as well with him would be pretty special. But at the same time, I know all of us are really looking forward to put out a performance that we'll be proud of.
Yeah, and we can't wait. The Hurricanes, a team with ticker, aren't they? Big ticker. And that perfectly encapsulates Ardie Savea, their new skipper for the year. They finished third last year. Remember, they're the only team, though, that beat the Crusaders and the Blues, so a big notch on their belt. All right, so Ardie, he's going to get to boss around his big brother this year. Julian the Bus Savea, he joins the Canes. He had a stand-up mighty Ted for Auckland. Hurricanes fans, they'll also be itching to see what 110 kg winger Salisi Orasi can do. His blistering pace surely will make up for the loss of Ben Lamb to France. They need some love in the backs. James Marshall's retired after a niggly hip injury, and of course TJ Perenara, he's on a sabbatical in Japan. This team looks very strong and menacing up front, but perhaps a little fragile in the backs with some of those losses. Keen to get your thoughts, team?
Yeah, significant losses. The fact TJ Perenara is one of those, and it happened late last year, Mills. I look at this group and I thought they were not necessarily the overperformers, but the ones that surprised me the most. The fact that deep into the competition, they were playing quality rugby, putting themselves in position to win big games.
Well, they adapted a lot faster, didn't they, than they needed to, because they weren't playing too well in that first couple of rounds. But TJ Perenara, he's going to be a significant loss to them, particularly around the fact they've got some young backs. Who's going to steer them around the park in terms of, is it Garden Bishop or, Simon Hickey's come back into it as well. So, and then when you look, outside of those guys, fairly inexperienced side.
Yeah, well, TJ Perenara used to go for the last 15 minutes to first five last year. I think the biggest thing about last year for me was when there was Geordie Barrett and when there wasn't Geordie Barrett. I think there was I remember all three of us at the game down in the Chiefs where he came back from injury and he was unbelievable. The thing that concerns me the most about the Hurricanes would actually be their bench and their depth. So I think Julian coming back, imagine him, let's hope that he marks Caleb. How would that be? Ouch, wouldn't want to be out there. But, I think players like Geordie need to stay on the paddock. And, a few of these young guys, you talked about the Blues first fives having to stand up, so do the Hurricanes.
No shortage of talent, though. You're still not convinced he's a fullback, but then you start looking at the likes of Nani Laumapi, who made pretty much a statement last year in the way that he was playing, the pace they have on the outside channel, and Julian come back into the fold. He looked really good in the pre-season, Mills. So I don't know if talent's an issue for them, but maybe that consistency of performance from week to week is going to be their challenge? Yeah,
consistency and communication as well, in terms of, making sure everyone's on the same page. He's going to do this, all day long in Laumapi. But also, you've got to be able to have a guy that's outside him calling the shots in terms of where the space is, using him as a decoy runner, for instance. And have they got the experience, the guys outside, to be able to call that? Yeah, I'm not too sure yet.
And you're talking about on-field leadership, and Ardie Savea has been given that responsibility. But he's not at open side. Duplessis Karefi, who's been outstanding for Wellington and for the Hurricanes. What influence and best influence can Ardie Savea have for them, JK?
Well, just to do what he's doing on the screen. I think at number 8 he's explosive. that effort that he puts in when he plays. I think he'll be a player that will lead by example. When he says something, people will listen, but he won't be that verbal, I don't think. He will need other players in the back line to step up and help him, like Nani. Nani's been around a long time now, Mills. He needs to step up into a leadership role and help him. So it'll be this whole leadership group that'll get him through.
And sometimes it can be really difficult when you step into that captaincy role, to define your role. He loves being out wide and being a little bit more space. Now he's got the opportunity to say, well, do I lead from the front in terms of the physical battle, getting a little bit closer and winning those contacts, particularly when with ball in hand. So that's where we might see a little bit of confusion in terms of the way he wants to play this year.
A combative way, that's the way he plays, and that'll continue. As someone who doesn't mind a scrap, Dane Coles, he's a bit old school, but he's hinted maybe that this could be his last season of Super Rugby. I'm not sure about that, but we asked him as well what it's like to be the elder statesman in the Hurricanes.
I suppose I represent I still challenge myself because I'm, I suppose, at the older age to compete with these young fellas, and I suppose especially in my team, I can't probably speak for the other teams, but just show what it means to be a Hurricane, carry on the legacy and to show that passion that I have for this team, and we get around the young fellas and just be me. I reckon I'm not trying to be a guardian or anything, just trying to represent the Hurricanes the best way I can and make sure it means something to people on my team.
Can't wait to see him unleash. All right, we are saving, undeniably, the best for last. The Chiefs. Some big wins in recruitment for the Chiefs, and hopefully those recruitment pluses are going to translate to points on the scoreboard. Xavier Rowe, get used to that name, trust me, because chances are you're going to hear a lot more of it in the future. The halfback's making his Super Rugby debut after a cracker season for Waikato. Hurricanes utility Chase Tiatia moves north to bolster the backs. Experienced hooker Nathan Harris, he's hoping his horror run of injuries, which sidelined him last year, they're over hopefully, and add the Super to bring Gatlin to the mix. That should soften the blow of losing Aaron Cruden to Japan. It won't, though, be a father-son combo. Clayton McMillan, he'll lead the charge. He's got quite the CV. He led Bay of Plenty to Mitre 10 Cup final in 2018 as the current Maori All Black coach. So, no Cruden, no Gats. Warren Gatlin off to lead the British and Irish Lions north, we think. We hope, as COVID continues to play havoc with the world. And as I mentioned earlier, Nepola Lala, he's trekked north to the Blues. The Chiefs, unlucky last year. Have I said it's our year? It's our time? All right, Sam Kane leads the pack once again. It's a new year with new resolutions.
Look, we'd like to bounce back from a dusty year last year with the Chiefs and take out this Super Rugby Aotearoa title. That'd be pretty special. For me, I want to build on last year, keep performing consistently and make sure I'm enjoying my rugby.
How do you move forward given it's a new season? Do you just dump that and forget about it, or do you learn from it?
Yeah, look, there's lots of things to be learnt from it, and a lot of that was sort of done throughout the review process, which we were fortunate Clayton was part of all of that, so it's not like he's coming in and not having any of those things to take on board. So look, in some aspects you dump a lot of it, but you try and implement things that will hopefully make some change. And we're another year older. We've got such a exciting number of young players coming through, so hopefully we've got a good balance of older heads and young fellas.
Sam, you've got this. It's our year, all right? Year of the Chiefs. All right, we're going to introduce something new for Breakdown 2021. I like to keep the panel on their toes, keep them busy. So we're going to do a trivia question each week. I know the boys back themselves with a little bit of trivia. And because we're in Highlanders country, I think it's only fitting that we make it a Highlanders flavour. So while everyone at home can get their Google out, Jeff, keep your phone away. I don't want you cheating because, I've heard things. Let's pose the question. How many Highlanders, boys, how many Highlanders are left from the victorious 2015 side? Let's relive the moment.
Aaron Smith holds it up. Now he gets it away. Dixon in a bit of space. Elliot Dixon still going. Close. I think he got it down. Now drop kick from Banks. He's got it. There goes the siren. Smith's going to bang it into touch. 20 years of heartbreak and disappointment for Highlanders fans. They've won the Super Rugby title.
Breakdown team live at the Harbour Club, Port Chalmers in Dunedin as we build up to the start of Sky Super Rugby Aotearoa 2021. Very exciting. Now, before the break, I asked a question fitting for Highlanders territory about the victorious 2015 Super Rugby winning team. How many of the team remain was the question posed. And Goldie, I know you're reaching out to the team for some hints. What have you got for us?
Doesn't matter, we won a title. Doesn't matter how many are still here. We've won a title. I'll tell you what, I did celebrate that. Look, I'm going to take a stab at it. I went to the crowd. They were very, very helpful. They may have come up a couple short. So I'm going to say there's 6. Oh, someone just said, oh, I've got the ooh from the crowd. I think there's 6.
You think that, is that your final answer?
That's my final answer. There you go.
Or?
I haven't got any friends. So, no, I'm going to say 6.
All right, so if you'd said higher than 5 and fewer than 7, you may well be right.
Ooh, did I guess it?
Let's have a look. Let's see.
Come on, who are they?
Who remains? There you go.
Josh
Check it
Honock
out.
returns.
Oh, and we're in esteemed company because look at that number 9, Aaron Smith, in our presence tonight. A member of that 2015 victorious team. Well done. All those at home who got 6, pat yourself on the back.
There's a protest.
That's wrong. That's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. Brownie was there, wasn't he? Well, you don't count the coaches nowadays. Was Brownie there as well or not?
Ooh, got a
He was there.
protest.
So
He's putting in an official protest.
I am.
Ineos needed you. That's what Ineos needed. That's a bit harsh, right? Okay, let's talk Harbour Rugby Club. This is where we are. We've got 2 new guests here, and locals, and the Highlanders through and through. Harley T-Pole, he's former Tongan international. Yeah. Salala Mapasua, look at them. I'll tell you what, and we're going around the world, guys. We're going into South Africa through Super Sport, and we're going to Australia through Stan. Great to have you guys with us. Let's talk about club footy first and foremost. Salala, it's always nice to come back here. I haven't been here for a while, but for you, coming into these club rooms, what was this club like to be a part of?
It's always awesome coming back, Goldie, and so many great memories at this club and some blank ones too. But it's a great club and a real community feel out here, and hence why whenever I was playing for the Highlanders, we always tried our best to come back and play for the club as much as possible. So it's real, as I said, real good memories.
Harley, you've played here, you've coached here. Are you actually finally done playing?
Yes, I've really I've convinced the coaches Ryan and Dewey not to call me in again. Last year I had a couple of games, but I think that's me done.
How important is the role of club rugby for you when you're talking about both of you? That not so much that stepping stone, but that part of the community, that opportunity to be found, but also so you can be belonging somewhere, which is a great environment to be a part of.
Yeah, that's right, Goldie. We're proud of what we're doing, getting involved in the clubs. I think for Otago, the Highlanders region, and New Zealand in general, it's important for guys like us to come back to the club and try to keep the club rugby alive. You know, a lot of people within the community, they live for club rugby on Saturday, and it's good if we could add on a bit of 2 cents, bringing in players and kids and get them involved in club rugby and stay there and embrace it, then we're happy lads after that.
How was the transition for the both of you? I mean, obviously both, from Wesley College, and the transition to come, down here and being welcomed like that. And I mean, I suppose you still haven't got used to the weather with that beanie on, Harley? But how was that transition?
Yeah, it was pretty good. We got, I remember the first couple of days we arrived down in Dunedin, myself and Lala walked around the octagon and we were nearly in tears, and he said to me that let's go back to Auckland. But I'm glad we stuck at it and stayed within the good club here. They looked after us really well, and that was back in the days where Goldie and Brownie would play Super Rugby, and then I think there's a period there with the All Blacks that you're allowed to play club rugby. So I was lucky enough to come in at that times where these fellas were playing club rugby as well.
Harley, for me, I've seen you all around the world playing. Last time I saw you, I think, was in Japan.
Great tourist, eh?
Great tourist. A lot of Pacific Island players, this question for both of you, are playing club football. I mean, for Tonga and for Samoa, is it an important part of the development for your players to play in club and then get opportunities overseas?
I think so, JK. I think that's it's a great place to learn your trade and learn skills in life. And I think that club rugby provides that, especially for for our PI players that they may not get if they were to step straight into a professional environment. You take a kid out of Savai'i and throw him into the bright lights of Eden Park. It's a big transition. So I think club rugby definitely plays a part in that.
Ali, for you, what does club rugby in New Zealand give you that's different? Like I said, you've played all around the world. What is it about good old Kiwi clubs that you love the most?
I think free beers from the young fellas here every Saturday. I don't have to buy beers. But no, like I said earlier on, I think it's important for club rugby, for New Zealand rugby to sail smoothly. We need to put a bit of effort into club rugby to keep it alive. And there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of good people in the community who live for Saturday club rugby. So that's why we're still involved, just to keep all these kids. And then I think for us getting involved, we look out for those, especially the island kids around our club. They're flicking their ears if they don't turn up to trainings and pay their subs and that. So that's the role we play nowadays in the club rugby.
Mups, when you go to the next level and you're talking to international players, what are some of the things that you remind them about the experiences you had down in Dunedin?
I try not to remind them at all, Goldie. It does come up every now and again, but I talk about the memories of. I speak very fondly of them when I think back to my time playing down here, and it's as I said, it taught me a lot of things. The club rugby scene taught me a lot of things that I probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And so I'm always indebted to my club. You just gassed Brownie. I mean, he just disappeared out the back of the screen. His hamstrings have been done by that. But for you, Harley, with the fact that the experiences you've had, not just here in Dunedin, but also down in Invercargill with Southland.
Yeah, I've got good memories. Good Southland and Invercargill boy here. I always try to get down to Invercargill, watch the Southland Stags play. I'm still a big fan of the Stags. I try to get down there as often as I can. But no, it's been good down here in the regions. Our families both keep asking us, what are we still doing down here? But we'll stay here for as long as we can.
Are you guys encouraged by the conversations that are happening now, just quickly, around the Pacific Island game?
Encouraged, yes, definitely encouraged. I think it's awesome that those conversations are being had, Goldie, and we'll just play the waiting game now and see where those conversations lead. You feel the same, Harley?
Yeah, we're still. We were in a Zoom call the other day, and I was up in Auckland last week, which is trying to breach where they align with the Moana Pacifica steering group and the home union. So that's where we come in and try and make sure that they're aligned and they're in the same path, trying to get this going.
What I love about the fact is you guys are involved in the game. You're involved in all levels of the game. You understand what it stands for. Look, it's great to have a couple of you legends back at this club. It's been great to be in front of this group, and we're grateful for everything you do. So thanks very much for coming on the show. It's been a great night. A fantastic night here at the Harbour Rugby Club, and we are very lucky here at the Breakdown. We've got 6 tickets to give away to both games this weekend. Make sure you email us at thebreakdown@sky.co.nz and you will be into it. You don't even have to answer anything. We're just going to give them away. Massive weekend coming up in front of us. JK, who have you got this weekend?
Well, I tell you what, I'm liking the look down here, and with the boys and with this room, I'm going to go for the Highlanders. Yeah. Not silly.
You wouldn't get away with saying anything else, Mills.
Well, I'm not going to get away with this anyone else either.
Let's talk about Wellington quickly then.
Oh, look, I'm just excited about Caleb and Julian meeting somewhere on the football field. That'll be interesting, but go the Blues. It's
going to be a massive weekend of Sky Super Rugby Aotearoa. Big thanks once again to all of the good people here at the Harbour Rugby Club. It's game on. On Friday nights, we're going to be there as the Highlanders, they take on the Crusaders in the first game of Sky Super Rugby Aotearoa.
2 months ago, I thought, no, we're not going to see it till next year, but it's great it's back now. We're awesome.
This is the best comp for us. Every week it's a challenge, and we know physically and mentally it's demanding. I wouldn't want to be in any other comp. These matches are not won by 1 moment or 2 moments. It's about moments compounding, about building pressure.
Oh, he dropped it! Can you believe it? That is sensational!
I see a lot of people disrespecting my name, and there's only one way I want to come out and show everyone the way that I play. Too much people talking, I'm just going to be me.
Now Murphy got on the outside of Barrett, heading towards the corner. What a try! Gatland! Oh, there you go! Clark thundering into the 22 and scores! Flung it wide to Brent. Brent kicks in. Oh my goodness! Aaron Smith. Shot fired, yes! Tompkinson! Can you believe it?
The Crusaders and Super Rugby Aotearoa to the 10 Super Rugby titles that they've won. 4th in a row.